Debt. More than just numbers on a page. It's the weight on your shoulders, the tension in relationships, and the dreams put on hold. But breaking free isn't just about clearing balances. It's about shifting your mindset, taking control with disciplined action, and building systems that keep you free. Welcome to Personal News, where we want to guide you from debt's shadow to lasting financial liberation.
Debt, the word that can mean stress, shame, or even paralysis. How many of you feel that weight right now? Tonight, we'll hear real stories of struggle and triumph, and discover how to escape the debt trap for good. Before we listen to these stories, let's take a quick look at consumer debt around the world.
People around the world owe staggering amounts of money, hundreds of trillions of dollars. Governments, companies, and households around the world owed a record $315 trillion in early 2024. That's more than the combined economies of every country on Earth 3 times over. In the United States, total household debt reached $17.7 trillion in early 2024. This includes mortgages, credit cards, auto loans, and student loans. On average, each American adult owes about $89,000 in total household debt. Gen X, people born between 1965 and 1980, typically carries the highest average debt burden, largely due to mortgages and other financial responsibilities accumulated during peak earning and borrowing years. When we look at debt around the world, Norwegian households owe about 212% of their annual net disposable income. That's like owing $212,000 when you make $100,000 annually. Australian households owe 213% of their yearly net disposable income. High house prices are a major factor, and some experts caution that they might be overvalued. Canadian households owe 179% of their yearly net disposable income. Many have loans with variable interest rates, causing stress, especially for renters and those with lower incomes. Household debt is rising in many countries because homes cost more, but wages aren't growing much. A key number to watch is the debt to GDP ratio, which shows how much debt a country has compared to the size of its economy. Countries like Japan, Greece, and Italy have high ratios, meaning they owe a lot compared to what they produce. Debt is a big deal everywhere. Many countries have households owing a lot of money. 2 critical measures highlight the risk. Debt-to-income ratio shows how much households owe compared to their take-home pay, net disposable income. Very high ratios, like in Norway and Australia, leave families vulnerable. Government debt to GDP ratio indicates a government's debt burden relative to its economic capacity. Very high levels can limit a country's ability to respond to crises. Countries like Norway and Australia with high debt-to-income ratios could face problems if the economy takes a hit.
Debt. It's more than a word. It's a weight. For some, it's a manageable tool. For others, it's a suffocating trap. Escaping that trap and staying free demands more than luck. It requires a plan, grit, and a shift in how we see money. Think about your own finances. What's the one debt that weighs on you the most? Tonight, we hear from those caught in debt's undertow and those who fought their way to solid ground. Meet Maria, a single mom and marketing professional fighting to stay afloat. She's been living paycheck to paycheck due to her hefty student loans and car loan. She often finds herself using her credit card for basic necessities, which only adds to her debt.
Every paycheck vanishes before it hits. ER bills, car loans, groceries. I pay minimums, but the balances never drop. The interest just piles up. It's a constant weight on my chest. It feels like I'm drowning. Between the maxed out cards for my son's ER visit last year, the car loan, and just trying to keep up with groceries and rent, every paycheck vanishes before it hits my account. I pay the minimums, but the balances barely budge. The interest just keeps piling on. It's this constant heavy weight on my chest. I don't even look at the statements anymore. It's just too much.
Raise your hand if unexpected expenses ever derailed your budget. Haha. Maria's story shows how emergencies can spiral. Unexpected emergencies, high interest, the weight of helplessness. Maria's story is far too common. Joining us next is David, a recent graduate navigating the challenges of student loans. His story is likely to resonate deeply with many young adults.
Student loans, man, they're brutal. Add credit cards for just getting by in college. Now I'm entry level in the city, trying to afford an apartment. It's paycheck to paycheck with extra steps. I know I shouldn't use the car for nights out, but sometimes you just need to feel normal, you know? Then the guilt hits. Feels like I'll be paying this off forever.
The burden of student debt, mixed with lifestyle pressures, an emotional and financial tug-of-war. Who here has used credit to maintain a lifestyle they couldn't afford? David's caught in the cycle of emotional spending. Next, Ben and Sarah, entrepreneurs battling business and personal debt. Ben and Sarah risked everything for their dream.
We poured everything into the shop. Equipment loans, a business line of credit, even put some startup costs on personal
We're
cards.
constantly robbing Peter to pay Paul. Personal savings are gone, credit is tapped. Sales were okay pre-pandemic, but never quite caught up. Now, with inflation hitting supplies
Terrifying.
and customers tightening
The
belts,
debt feels like it owns our business and our home life.
Dreams entangled with debt, a reality intensified by external economic forces. How many entrepreneurs here felt business debt bleed into personal life? A harsh reality for many. And next, Walter, 68, who thought retirement meant freedom. Walter has spent years working hard, but now he's working hard to pay off debt.
My pension didn't stretch as far as I'd hoped. Then the roof needed replacing, and my daughter lost her job. I took a reverse mortgage. Now the interest eats away at my home's equity. I wake up at 3 a.m. worrying I'll lose the only asset I have left.
How many of us envisioned a debt-free retirement, only to encounter unexpected financial shocks? Walter's story is a powerful reminder that debt knows no age boundaries. But the question remains, how do we navigate these financial challenges effectively? Let's explore some practical debt solution strategies that can help chart a path toward financial stability, regardless of where you are in your journey. So how do we break free? First, be brutally honest. Track every dollar. What's one expense you could cut this week? Let's look at some practical strategies to help you manage your debt effectively.
Phase 1. Breaking free from debt's chains. The brutal audit. Facing reality head-on. You need full disclosure. Be brutally honest. The journey starts with unflinching honesty. Get a clear picture first. Gather all your financial statements, credit cards, loans, medical bills, store cards. List every debt, including creditor, outstanding balance, minimum payment, and the interest rate. Ignorance is not bliss, it's costly. Next, track all your income and expenses for at least 2 to 3 months. Use apps, spreadsheets, or pen and paper. Categorize every penny spent. This will give you a clear picture of your finances, how much money comes in, where it actually goes, and how much you have left to tackle debt. Establish a budget to manage your income and expenses. Time to choose your weapon. Just like every war needs a solid strategy and a powerful weapon, your debt battle also demands one. Here are 3 popular debt payoff strategies to help you conquer your financial challenges. The snowball method. The debt snowball. This method, popularized by Dave Ramsey, is all about psychological wins. First, list your debts from smallest balance to largest. Don't worry about interest rates for now. Then, pay the minimum on all except the smallest one. Attack it with all your might, and once it's paid off, roll that payment amount onto the next smallest debt. The quick wins you get along the way will keep you motivated. In our example, the credit card debt has the smallest balance, $4,000, and the student loan has the largest balance, $38,000. All the extra money available from your cut expenses or side hustles is $480. Start paying the credit card minimum required payment, $120, plus all extra money available from your cut expenses or side hustles, $480, until the credit card is settled. That is $600 in total per month on the credit card. When the credit card debt is cleared, tackle the personal loan. After that, the car loan. And lastly, the student debt. In every case, you combine the total payment of the last finished debt with the minimum required payment of the next debt on your list until all debts are cleared. The snowball strategy works psychologically because you get a win faster. Paying off that small debt quickly feels great and motivates you to keep going. It simplifies your debt list sooner. It is called the snowball method because, like rolling a snowball downhill, you start easy, gaining momentum as the snowball, the amount you can pay each month, gets bigger with each debt paid off. This strategy is best for people who need motivation and quick wins to stay on track. It builds confidence. 2. The avalanche method. The debt avalanche. This method is mathematically the best choice. List your debts from highest interest rate to lowest. Pay the minimum on all, but throw every extra dollar at the debt with the highest interest rate first, regardless of the balance. Once that's eliminated, move on to the next highest debt. This strategy saves you the most money on interest in the long run, but it requires more patience. High balance, high interest debts might take a bit longer to clear initially. In our example, the credit card debt has the highest interest rate at 20.13%. Put all your extra money towards the credit card debt first. Once that debt is cleared, you move to the one on your list with the second highest interest rate. After that, the third debt. Continue to the last debt until all is finished. Why it works mathematically. You save the most money on interest charges over time. By eliminating the most expensive debt first, you stop the biggest financial bleed. Why is it called the avalanche method? Like stopping an avalanche at the top, you tackle the biggest threat, the high interest, first to prevent it from causing the most damage, costing you the most money. This strategy is best for people who are disciplined, patient, and focused purely on saving money and paying off debt in the most efficient way possible. It takes longer to see the first debt gone, but saves cash. Which strategy is better? Snowball is better for motivation and sticking with the plan. You see progress faster. Avalanche is better for saving money on interest. It's mathematically optimal. The real winner, whichever one you will actually stick to. Paying off debt consistently is more important than the perfect method. If quick wins keep you motivated, choose Snowball. If you hate wasting money on interest and are patient, choose Avalanche. Choose the strategy that fits your personality and stick with it. Both will get you debt-free faster than making only minimum payments. The hybrid approach. Can you mix and match the two strategies? Yes, it is called the hybrid approach. Mix and match. For instance, start with the snowball method for smaller debts to build momentum, then switch to the avalanche method for bigger, higher interest ones. Pick the one that suits your personality and your chances of sticking to it. How do I execute all of this? Creating a momentum. Zero-based budget. Plan where every dollar goes before the month starts. Cover essentials first: housing, food, utilities, debt minimums, then put the rest toward paying off debt. Every dollar has a job, no extras. Cutting expenses. Find unnecessary spending like eating out, subscriptions, and impulse buys. Save money by cooking at home, canceling unused services, negotiating bills, and enjoying free activities. Every dollar saved helps reduce debt faster. Increasing income. Accelerate the process. Seek a raise, work overtime, take on a side hustle, freelancing, ride-sharing, selling unused items. Direct all extra income towards debt. Sacrifice now for freedom later. Set up and monitor. Automate minimum payments to avoid fees. Make extra payments manually to stay motivated. Use visual tools like charts to track your shrinking debt. Think about consolidating or refinancing your debt, but be careful. You could transfer high-interest credit card debt to a card with a lower interest rate, watch out for fees and time limits, or combine several debts into one loan with a lower rate. This makes payments simpler and saves on interest. However, it only helps if you stop using credit and close accounts you've paid off. If not, you might end up with even more debt.
Many individuals have put these principles into practice and achieved remarkable financial success. Their stories will not only inspire, but also provide real-world examples of how dedication and smart planning can lead to financial freedom.
After Anya's layoff, we really hit rock bottom, didn't we?
Sure.
Maxed cards, behind on just about everything. So, we got mad. We sat down, laid every single bill out on the table, and committed to the snowball method. And that meant years of serious sacrifice.
It was hard.
No vacations, used cars, beans and rice dinners. We worked extra jobs, sold stuff we didn't need.
Everything.
But seeing those small debts disappear first really gave us fuel. And the day we sent that final loan payment,
Happy day.
pure relief. Now we budget religiously. And that emergency fund, well, that's our safety net. We are never going back.
Never.
Anya and Mark's story shows how discipline and resilience can lead to success. By sticking to the snowball method, even through tough times, they turn financial struggles into relief. Their journey proves that with focus and determination, any challenge can be conquered. Before Chloe realized the cost of overspending, she was stuck in a cycle of using future money for today's expenses. Financial freedom isn't about quick fixes. It begins with a change in mindset. Here's how Chloe took back control of her money and life.
I was a shopaholic. Clothes, gadgets, fancy dinners, all on credit. When the minimum payments exceeded my rent, I panicked. I cut up the cards, switched to cash envelopes for everything fun. It was tough saying no constantly. I sold half my closet online, took freelance gigs, paid off $35,000 in 3 years. The biggest change? My mindset. I asked, do I need this or just want it, before buying anything? That freedom from the monthly payment treadmill? Priceless. Everything I buy now is cash.
Chloe's story shows how emotional spending can be a way to cope with stress, boredom, or loneliness. This often leads to a tough cycle where buying things offers short-term relief but causes money problems later. What's one small change you can make today to start your journey out of debt? Before our final story, let's look at the key parts of a debt-free lifestyle. Paying off debt is a big win, but staying debt-free is the real goal. This means setting up strong financial habits and smart money choices. Being debt-free isn't the finish line, it's the start of a new journey. Here's what you need.
An emergency fund helps you handle unexpected expenses like car repairs, medical bills, or job loss without using credit cards. After paying off your debts, except maybe your mortgage, save $1,000 to start. Then slowly build it to cover 3 to 6 months of essential living costs. Keep this money in an easy-to-access account, like a high-yield savings account.
How much would your safety net need to be?
Think of budgeting as a way to live your best life, not just a strict rule. Focus on building wealth, not just paying off debt. Spend wisely on what you need. Save for the future. Enjoy some treats. And support causes you care about. Review and adjust your budget regularly. Budgeting helps you spend in line with your values, not feel deprived. Credit mindset. Develop disciplined financial habits. If you decide to use credit cards, here are some tips. Treat them like debit cards. Only charge what you can pay off in full every month. Never carry a balance. Use rewards cautiously, only if you pay in full. Don't spend more to earn points. Consider reducing limits. Lowering your credit limits can help reduce temptation. Alternatively, you could try the debit cash diet. For many people, using only debit cards or cash for discretionary spending is the safest way to avoid overspending and accumulating new debt. Envelope systems can be a helpful tool for this approach. Use debit cards, pay in full, or avoid them altogether. Mindset shift. Delayed gratification and value-based spending. Let's delve into mindset shifts and how to make more informed spending choices. Here's a fun tip. Whenever you're contemplating a purchase, pause and ask yourself these questions. Do I genuinely need this, or is it merely a desire? Does this align with my long-term objectives? Can I afford to pay for this with cash today? By taking a moment to reflect on these factors, you can ensure that your purchases are enjoyable and won't burden you with debt. Another effective approach is to embrace delayed gratification. Instead of resorting to credit purchases, save up for significant purchases. The satisfaction of owning something outright without interest is truly rewarding. Lastly, it's crucial to define your values and spend consciously on them. What truly brings you joy and fulfillment? Often, it's experiences, relationships, or security, not material possessions purchased on credit. Therefore, make sure that you're allocating your money to things that matter to you.
By making these simple changes, you can develop a more mindful and enjoyable spending mindset. Before we finish, let's look at another example.
I chose Avalanche to pay off debt, living like a student for years. Every bonus went to debt. Now, I invest without stress and rarely use debt.
Finally, meet Basil, an engineer who won the battle against debt.
For me, I chose the avalanche method to tackle my debts. I started by listing them all by interest rate and focused on paying off the highest one first,
while just making minimum payments on the rest. I went back to living like a college student. Tiny apartment, biking everywhere, and packing my lunches. Any extra money I got, like bonuses or tax refunds, went straight toward my debt. I paid off my credit cards, then my car, and finally knocked out my student loans. It took some discipline, but saving so much on interest really kept me motivated. Now, investing feels exciting instead of stressful. I'm much more careful with debt these days. I think of it as a tool I use sparingly, if at all.
What a powerful story, Basil. It's really inspiring to see how you took control of your financial situation. How are you feeling now after sharing that?
Thanks. I feel relieved and hopeful. It's great to see that my journey resonates with others. Sometimes it feels lonely when you're in the trenches of debt, but knowing others might find inspiration in it makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. Your commitment to the avalanche method is impressive. What would you say was the hardest part of that journey?
I think the hardest part was the initial mindset shift. Going back to living like a student after being used to a certain lifestyle was tough. But once I saw progress, it fueled my determination.
That's a great reminder that mindset is key. And now that you've paid off that debt, how do you approach investing differently?
Now, investing feels like an opportunity, not a burden. I'm much more cautious with my finances, viewing debt as a tool rather than a crutch. It's liberating.
I can imagine. Do you have any advice for others who might be in a similar situation?
Absolutely. Start small and be consistent. The discomfort of the first steps can lead to incredible transformation. And don't forget to celebrate the small wins along the way.
Wise words, Basil. Thank you for sharing your journey with us today. I'm sure many will take those lessons to heart.
Thank you for having me. If there's one thing I'd like to leave everyone with, it's this. No matter how overwhelming your situation may seem, every small step forward counts. Stay committed, believe in your growth, and remember, you're not alone on this journey.
It's impactful to hear real experiences about the struggles and successes of dealing with debt. You can feel the frustration and fear of those still struggling, while the relief and freedom of those who have succeeded are undeniable. Continuous learning and goal setting are essential components of financial literacy, empowering individuals to make informed decisions, adapt to changing economic conditions, and work towards their financial aspirations with confidence and clarity. Financial literacy is essential for understanding personal finance, including investing, retirement planning, and insurance. The more you learn, the better you can protect yourself. Let's establish clear financial goals. Instead of just saying, stay out of debt, aim for positive objectives, like saving for retirement, a dream vacation, a child's education, or achieving financial independence. These goals will motivate you to make smart financial choices. It's also helpful to schedule regular check-ins. Set aside time each month or quarter to review your finances, track your net worth, monitor your progress toward goals, and adjust your budget as needed. Remember, learning about finance is a journey, and it's fine to take it at your own pace. With some effort and education, you can reach your financial goals and enjoy a more secure and prosperous life. Breaking free from debt is challenging and requires sacrifices, discipline, and focus. Staying debt-free is a lifelong commitment to managing finances wisely and protecting yourself. However, the rewards are immense. Debt freedom means relief from growing interest, stress from collectors, and the feeling of being trapped. It allows you to pursue your passions, change careers, handle emergencies without worry, save for the future, and enjoy peace of mind. It's not just about managing numbers, it's about taking control of your time and future. By following these strategies, you can break the debt cycle and build a life defined by possibilities rather than what you owe. Maria's weight, David's guilt, Ben and Sarah's fear, Walter's regret. What's your debt story? Their victories prove it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Start today. Track one expense, cut one subscription, build your fortress, one brick at a time. What's one step you'll take this week toward financial freedom? Own your money, don't let it own you. God bless you.